one day I went to work and they start coming at me about like, you moving slow and this. I'm like, bro, like I'm actually waiting on y'all. You know what I mean? Like, whatever he said that day, one of the coworkers, I hit my girl. I said, yo, I'm bringing Betty tomorrow, bro. Straight up, bro. Like,
I'm stunting today. I'm
bringing Betty tomorrow. We pulled up. I'm in a patch of cigar, hopping out. And they seeing that shit was it's a white Rolls Royce. And they seeing that shit, I'm hopping out. And they was just like, what the fuck? I started seeing like the politics. It had nothing to do with sculpting anymore. It was like, we want to be able to accept you. And I wasn't accepted. It was, and I never was going to be. You know what I mean? So I was like,
money conversations, we've been making business moves, contemplating how to get it, need to get in tune. Different topics, we got options, you could pick and choose. If more income ain't the outcome, gotta switch the mood. We tryna help you to improve, thanks for asking. Road the richest, speak on broker days and past tense. Wealthy habits, lately I just wanna stack chips. Took a risk and we've been running up a bag since. G-Vast Quest, quick to make a couple G's. Detox, spin knowledge, put you on your feet. Bug out, got the plate, make sure to pray before you eat. At the table with the winners, come and take a seat.
Now, but for real, this is an ill episode right here. You know why? Because this is Barbersuticals Barbershop. And this is our 25th anniversary. Me and G-Vaz been doing our thing for 25 years and we still going. We still going. But on a serious note, we got Morado. This dude is a sculptor, a writer, and he be doing this thing out here on these streets in this black community. But anyway, without further ado, this is Thanks for Asking podcast. And Detox, you do the interview and start it off, bro.
Can I get a round of applause? Make some noise. 25th anniversary. Right. I've been in here a couple of them things. Is how we, you know what I'm saying, how we got together and all that.
That's a fact.
It's a pleasure knowing you gentlemen for so long.
Yes,
pleasure
sir.
Building this right here. You know, words can't explain the game I learned working in this shop. You know what I'm saying? So this is the Thanks for Asking podcast. In this show, it's primarily about bringing the best stories out of the black community and letting people know they can be more than what they can be.
That's a fact.
You know what I'm saying? Getting extraordinary stories out of ordinary people. We got a special guest. You know what I'm saying? This one right here is, we've been trying to do this for a while, you know what I'm saying?
that's a fact. Yeah.
But it's finally coming together nonetheless. It's my man Morado.
What's going on?
Appreciate you coming down here, man.
Appreciate you, bro.
For the 19th time. This motherfucker.
Yeah, nah, it's love, bro. I love coming through.
You know what I'm saying? And it's just building the relationship more and stuff like that. First, I want to give a shout out. My man got his book out. Black Mythology. You know what I'm saying? You guys got to cop that. We're going to put the website in there too. You know what I'm saying? Click on the website. Cop the book. Support black authors, black artists, black everything. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for real.
So please, subscribe to the Thanks for Asking podcast, please. We need every subscriber. We need y'all to show the love because we show y'all love and all the love y'all give us, we appreciate. So, thank you.
Yeah, definitely, bro.
Morado, what's good, man?
I'm good, man. I'm chilling.
All right. First thing I want to talk about, you're a sculptor.
Yeah, bro.
How do you become how does that happen to you? Like, I've never seen a sculptor in my life. What about you?
That's a fact. A sculptor, like, how the hell do you even influence yourself to even do something like that?
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy because I started out painting, but I think the sculpting came from hanging around my sister. You know what I mean? Like, we was just always competitive. Like, I got in a go-kart race and all that. Like, anything she was doing, I was like right behind.
She's your older sister or younger?
Yeah, older.
And she's an artist too?
She's still an artist. She's still an artist, but I mean, I just went hard about like I gotta one her up. You know what I mean? I gotta one up her. Like, like if she in the crayons, like I'm in pastels. If she in pastels, I'm in graffiti. Like, so it kind of went from there. But yeah, after a while, I just started seeing like what I could do outside of painting. You know what I mean? Like what, like for me, like how can I challenge myself more? And so it went from, you know, little pottery things to, you know, I want to full on make like a gigantic castle, you know, out of clay or something, like whatever it is, you know what I mean? So that's kind of how it got there, from like 6, 7 years old all the way till.
That's when you started sculpting?
Yeah.
Right.
Man. So when did you start taking it professionally?
I want to say the moment I left New York. I left New York. I was like 25. I went overseas for a while.
Overseas where?
Australia.
That's crazy.
Yes, I've been left.
Was it like, oh, there's a big art scene over there?
Nah, that's what made me want to go, because I was like, there's nothing there, and I'm like, if I can impress somebody there, then I'm good. Then I know I can measure what's good and what's not, you know. But like if I go to Paris, for example, it's like that's the art capital, so to speak. So it's like there's no way to gauge what's great, you know what I mean? So, you know, I had a lot of dealing selling art in Australia, and I was like, you know what, let me check it out. But when I got there,
what do you mean dealing selling art?
Well, I was painting before that, you know. So in the midst of that, I started noticing a lot of the paintings was going to a place called New South Wales. So I was like, well, where the hell's New South Wales at? And when I started hitting these people up, they're like, oh, it's Sydney, you should come. Check it out, whatever. And I'm like, yeah, but it's nothing. It just seemed like there was no art culturally there, you know what I mean? So I was like, I want to give this a shot. So I stayed there for a while, and that's kind of like where I started really going in with the sculpting, like 25, 26.
So hold on, bring me back then, because it sounded like you took art as a profession even before sculpting.
Yeah.
When did that happen? And how did that happen? Like, what is that? Because, you know, when you hear artists, you think of the bohemian.
Yeah. No, I get you. I think it started in IS8. I went to IS8 middle school.
Shout out to IS8.
Yeah, word.
IS8.
Word, bro. I was painting sneakers there. I was painting sneakers.
Oh, you was putting the splatters on the Nike, on the Uptowns and all that?
Right. You know, this is like
customizing them.
Yeah, this is like the late 90s, 2000. You know what I mean? So at the time, it was like, it wasn't really how it is now. You know, everyone getting their sneakers done up or whatever, but I was the only dude. Like, everyone knew me as like, yo, that's B with the kicks. You know what I mean? Right. So hanging around, you know, 109, like the Ave or whatever, it was like, yo, like, bro really paint kicks, you know? So for that time, I was doing a lot of that for free. I'm like, I want to understand the whole structure of painting a shoe. You know what I mean? Walking in it, like the paint, like does it crack, does it not? Like all that, all the schematics and detail behind that. So that kind of pushed me into like challenging myself more, because it was like, how many shoes I'm gonna paint before I get like, okay, I did this already. Yeah. You know, and so going into high school, it was like, I was really known for that, you know, and then it was like painting clothes and painting paintings, you know, canvas or whatever. And I think while I was happening, I'm, you know, hanging around my sister, and it was just like, she's showing me other worlds, like, oh, sculpting and this and that. So I'm like, all right, it was almost like I wanted to find more of a challenge for myself. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, my family would call it, you know, putting more stress on myself, but because it, you know, becomes financial, you know what I mean? But yeah, I think that's kind of where that started. It went from footwear to actual canvas and then sculpting.
So how did you do your first painting? Because I'm always intrigued of the business side of it, and how can one person make a living off of being an artist? Like, that's the, you know, everybody want to do that shit. I want to be a photographer. I want to do video. Nobody wants to do a 9 to 5.
No, I feel you.
You know what I'm saying?
If I'm being 100% honest, bro, it's you need a small amount of privilege. You need it.
What does that mean? What do you mean when you say that?
When I say that, I mean, like, you got to have a family that, like, okay, you could chill and do your thing while we, you know, paying for this or whatever. You know what I mean? But I just happened to be in that space where it was like, okay, I could learn my craft while I don't got to worry about a bill or nothing. You know what I mean? So it wasn't until 25 I was like, oh, I gotta learn this thing over here, work and socialize. You know what I mean? So it was, I think going overseas kind of threw me in that faster. You know what I mean?
Was that part of the reason you went over there? Is to like a challenge to say, because was family
also like adulting
and stuff? Yeah.
Honestly, they you know, I told them really late. You know, I told them like I already got the ticket. I ain't have no money to get it. I spent the last $1,000 I had. Like, I think I went over there with like $100. You know what I mean?
Wow.
But I was just
that
like,
is extra risky, bro. That's risky.
Yeah, bro. Like, and I was just like, nah, I need to, like, I'm supposed to be doing this. That's how it felt, you know. So, and it's like the older I got, I started incorporating sculpting, painting, and painting sneak, like in a very more mature way. But I think
But before we get to that,
yeah.
You started selling paintings to like who?
Most of the buyers at the time, like at a young age, was not black. It was nobody really black buying. It was like because I think that's when I started realizing like for us art is foreign. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was a very like especially high end art or like contemporary art. Yeah. It's like we like it, but the price doesn't match.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask. Like, how do you know how to price your art? How do you know how to do that?
I mean, truthfully, I still don't. You know what I mean? I still don't. Like a lot of it is like I try to keep the essence of it as being a passion. You know what I mean? Like I work for money. But art is like more like.
So you'll let somebody tell you a price and then you agree with it?
I can gauge certain numbers, like if it really come down to it. You know what I mean? If it's a project, but ultimately, I know I'm probably speaking ahead. I know you're gonna ask me this question later, but it's like now, like the older I am now in this space, it's like I'm not just giving you a painting. You know, I gotta know you really want it. I gotta know what your home space look like something you're really engaging with it. It's not a money thing. It's more of a lifestyle thing. You know what I mean? So that changes a lot for especially like us, like black people. We going, I want to show this shit off. I want to do certain things with it, but it's like it has to actually mean something to you too.
That's
it's not. It go like for me, the legacy means more to me than the money. You know what I mean? So. I think that's what started happening. That's what happened with the sneakers. It was like, it's free because I want to see how you wear it.
But most people that buys art, they be into art.
Yeah,
they really do.
I mean? So it's like I wanted to see like how you actually maneuver
and express it.
Yeah, you know. So I think for me, you know, if we look at old photos of me, like everything was painted, like everything, shoes. The shirt, everything had graffiti on it. You know what I mean? Like I kind of embodied the 80s a little bit with that. But as I got older, it was like things I wore became more like it complemented my taste, but there was a more maturity behind like customized individuality. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I think that's what I look for with art enthusiasts. It's like I'm not just selling you anything. I want to make sure like this is something when somebody comes into your home or your space. It's a part of your lifestyle. It's not just something hanging on the wall.
Yeah,
you know
that's
what I mean?
a fact.
So, it's fucking dope.
Yeah.
Hold on. So
I see him thinking. Yeah.
How do you like? You know, for me, one of the hardest things for me is like building relationships with people outside my community.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, I grew up in a predominantly black neighborhood. It took me as an adult to start learning how to navigate around other cultures and stuff like that. So you're saying you're growing up, you're making shoes for people, but eventually you wind up having to leave your community and branch out to other cultures to start making money. With artwork. How do you start building those relationships?
I think the access point for that, or the entry point rather, was the women I was dating, because the women I was dating was like he weird, he artist.
What kind of women you dating?
It could be black, white, whoever, but their interest.
The women with an E. Okay.
Yeah, their interest is he's an artist. Yeah, and he's not an artist in the sense of like being a rapper. So it's like
the guy sleeping on the roof. I got you.
Yeah, you know what I mean. So it's like
weirdo.
They like, yo, I want to see what that's like.
Yeah.
But there was also a component of like, he actually he's from a hood though. You know what I mean? So it changed their view of what the traditional artist was. So it's like coming into that, they started bringing me around different groups of people because it was the access of a woman, attractive woman. I know this guy, he likes to buy art, or I know this person, they like to buy this. So it kind of threw me into that. You know what I mean? And then before I knew it, it was like I always had an interest in fashion. You know what I mean? So it was like I'm hanging around people that's like, he wears suits, or he wears this, he wears that. So it's like, you don't seem like the typical black artist. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. So as all those combinations started happening, it started putting me in different rooms or different opportunities to access certain things. You know what I mean? And it was like the way I even approach things articulately or whatever, it was like, damn, he's saying these things, but he's still being him. It's not like I'm throwing on the white voice, you know what I mean, to gain approval. You know what I mean?
What's that? What they call code switch?
You know what I mean? So it was like, yo, bro seems to have a good hone on who he is. You know what I mean? So I think that was my introduction to that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. All right. You start doing your art. You start building these relationships. Then you just 25 come and you're like, fuck it, this ain't it. I'm going to Australia.
Yeah.
You get to Australia, you got $100 in your pocket.
Yeah.
What the fuck happens next, B? Because me, $100 in Southside Jamaica, Queens, I'm having a full penny.
You're not even gonna leave with $100. Like, that's really ballsy to even do that, bro.
Yeah, I mean, like, don't get me wrong. Like, I had women friends out there. You know what I mean? They was looking out
no doubt.
That's
So
what I'm
you
saying.
already
Like,
had a place to stay set up already.
Yeah. Like I had relationships. It wasn't even necessarily romantic. It was just like,
but you knew
we see your
people.
vision. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So once that started happening, I started getting on my feet selling artwork there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you know, I was kind of held up to like a god out there. You know what I mean? Because it's like, yo, like we never seen this combination. You know what I mean? Like if we seeing somebody from New York, you a black ball player or a rapper. You know what I mean? Like, so it's like you coming through here and you don't fit that mold. You know what I mean? So and it was challenging, you know, but it was definitely like eye opening.
Tell me some of the challenges.
I think the main one was convincing people I'm me. You know what I mean? Like convincing them like this isn't a facade. You know what I mean? Like I'm from a small town called Bricktown. You know what I mean? Like this is North Side.
Jersey.
Nah, it's
No, Bricktown over there.
Yeah, so yeah.
I don't know the nickname.
I'm not even gonna say that.
I mean,
Bricktown.
now it's official like
It's
on Google
official
Maps.
term.
You know what I mean? But it's like right near St. Albans.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? Like Hollis behind it, whatever. But I grew up there, and so it's like I brought a lot of my ways from Bricktown there. You know what I mean? So it was like a gesture, body language, all that was like, yo, what the fuck you doing? You know what I mean? So I had to really like. The challenge I think was showing like how can I say this is me, but allow you to be you and vice versa. You know what I mean? Like whatever that may be.
So you think it made people uncomfortable too?
Yeah, definitely. Because it was like the art world. You know, I feel like even just the term artist, like it has an association with a white person. You know what I mean? Like when we thinking of a white guy or whatever he's doing. So it's like when you put the word black in front of that. It's a double-edged sword. It's like to be black is to be to a white man's world is like to be rebellious, and to be an artist is to be rebellious. So you double rebellious. You know what I mean? Like being in Australia. You know what I mean? So it's like they seeing that going, bro, black in here. Damn, like
you don't even know how to take that.
Yeah, so it could be intimidating. You know what I mean? Because I'm walking around without trying to soothe your insecurities. You know what I mean? So. It was a lot of that, you know, but I think as time went on, it was like, okay, I had to learn how to handle and maneuver.
What does that look like? I'm like, right now.
Yeah. No. I feel
that's
you.
amazing to me. Like, you're an artist, you're a sculptor. Like you said, you're a black artist. You're in Australia. You know, you're on the other side of Earth.
Yeah, for real, for real. And I think what really woke me up was, you know, I'm hearing problems from my people back home, and we're a day behind from Australia. So I'm hearing it as if like, I really don't even have time for that. You know, because I'm in a different space. I'm seeing different people. But I think what really opened it up was me allowing myself to find common ground amongst white or Aboriginal peers or whatever. Because I'm going, okay, I'm in their house, I'm in their world. I can't come here and go F you. You know what I mean? It's your space. So I'm like, what do they like? Where I could go, okay, I could absorb that. You know what I mean? And so a lot of that had to do with the culture of art. That was the middle ground. It was like, you like wine, I like wine. You know what I mean? You like cognac, I like cognac. I like this. You know what I mean? So I'm going, okay, y'all drink, it could be Yellowtail. You know what I mean? That was their thing then. So like,
really?
You know what I mean? So I would go, okay, you know what? I may not want Yellowtail. I may want, you know, Don Julio or something else. So I'm like, oh, I'll eat that with cheese. And they go, oh, we eat wine with cheese, whatever it is. I'm finding, oh, this is our commonality. You know what I mean? And then before you know it, they're going, I always like the painting like this, a portrait painting or, so I'm going, oh, I actually paint that way. Wow. So before I knew it, I'm going, I see that there's many languages that if you find that space, you can kind of maneuver between each other where there's some respect there. You know what I mean? And that's what started happening. You know, it was like, oh, okay, like, bro really like, he's respecting our culture. And he's opening up the door for us to learn about his. And so if I'm the mascot for the black guy from New York, what will be a takeaway? You know, I heard one of I had a boss at the time. She worked in. I remember she came to the States years later. And she goes, "You were the first black person I met," and and it was like her takeaway from it was like, "Bro, all I got was a really good vibe from you." And I'm going, "Damn, imagine if I came there on some whatever her perception was from me or whatever." So she's going,
reinforced all of
this is the template of what a black person is. So she'll come through to New York or LA or wherever else and go, "Yo, my approach, the way I can approach a black person is based off this guy." You know what I mean? Yeah, you know what I mean? So that, I think that actually showed me like, okay, like I'm glad I didn't show certain stereotypes that was already preconceived within them. You know what I mean? So yeah, it was that was the journey with that. You know what I mean?
That wasn't a lot of pressure. Like the fact that to say somebody, yo, I mean, I guess you didn't know it at the time, but can you imagine somebody going, "Hey, how you doing? My name is Cindy. You're the first black person I ever met." You know what I'm saying? What do you do to that? Like, what kind of? That's crazy to me. Like,
but I'm gonna say this though, like, it definitely was pressure, and I was aware of it. Like, there was a job I worked at when I was there, maybe for like 3 months. It was we did sales, and I had to train. I eventually became a manager, and I had to train a couple of people. So there's a heavy Asian culture there, so Indian, Korean, whatever. And there was an Indian guy there. He's from Nepal or whatever, and I'm training him for like 4 or 5 days. You know, like I'm showing up, like I'm having a good time, rapport, and I'm like, you know, let me know if you got any questions. And bro goes, "I just got one question," and he's happy with a smiley face and all. And he goes, "I just want to know, can I call you a nigga?"
Oh,
and I'm at work, like I didn't even know how to gauge that shit. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, why? Why is that the thought that came across, bro? You know what I mean? So
just quickly, is racism a big thing over there?
For us, not really. You know what I mean? Like their quarrels with each other is between like Palestinian, Lebanon, like
so
like Middle Easterns.
Really.
Yeah, like it's a lot of that. Like blacks is like held up like, oh my God, like they could be like, Omarion's coming. Yo, like
so for him to come at you like that was
it threw me off. You know, so he's like, bro, it's because I watch rap videos. You know, I say this a lot, and I'm like, yeah, bro, like I ain't got time to give you this lesson, but like, what the, you know what I mean?
He wasn't looking at it like
trying to be offensive,
like racial. He was looking at it like that's how y'all talk to each other.
You know what I mean? So I had to kind of school him in the best way possible without me showing offense to it.
Yeah, that's a fact.
But a part of me was like, maybe I should, because he may check himself next time he asks this stupid ass question. You know what I mean? So it was a lot of that, but I'm in the workspace.
Yeah.
So now I gotta quick think of, do I jump to the aggression or do I jump to logic and go, yo, look, bro, let me.
What did you do?
I pulled him to the side. We jumped out the booth, whatever. I'm like, yo, bro, like, you got to be careful what you say, bro. You know what I mean? Like address me by my name. You've been calling me by my name since whenever. Like, if you really want to get to know me, address me by my name. You know, and eventually I had to let our superior know. I'm like, yo, bro, you know, kind of some wild shit.
Can I call you nigga?
Yeah, well, you asking me?
Yeah, I'm asking you. Can I call you nigga?
I mean, like, and that's the thing. I get you on that, and that's the thing. Like my boss, white dude, he asked me, like, you know, what if this was a black guy?
That's my point. That's my point. So leave me alone, bro.
And I said to him, like, I think if they were black, they wouldn't ask.
That's a fact. That's a fact. That's a fact.
There's a cultural thing.
Yeah, you know.
We not asking like, my nigga, what's up? You know what I mean? So, bro, he said, you know, what you want me to do? You want me to fire him? I said, nah, because I'm leaving the spot anyway. You know what I mean? Like, I got mad other stuff I'm doing. Like, let it be a life lesson for him, but, you know, I'm out. He fired him anyway. You know, but I think that was the most shocking shit I ever had to witness, because I'm in a corporate
that is
environment. You know, it's a mall. You know what I mean? So it's mad stuff going on. So I'm going, how do I fight this rage? As a black artist, because they're knowing me, like I said, like I got held up as a god there. Like it's like, yo, Morado's coming through. Like we see him, he wearing fancy shit on whatever it is. So it's like that would be my image right there.
Did you think you was gonna go through that by going there?
Nah. I honestly thought like I'm, you know, get with some chicks. I'm gonna have like 4 or 5 joints lined up.
Right. They was black chicks. They was black chicks.
I think I hung around like one black chick, but it was mostly like Most of the chicks you seen, they were like Lebanese, Armenian, like Indian, you know what I mean, Korean, like it
I
was
wouldn't even expect that. I would have thought white. You know what I'm saying?
There was white joints too, but it was like.
But to know that, I didn't even. I know there's some. I know there's like an African.
Because Africa's right there.
So it's right there.
But what was trippy was like, when they seen me, it was like, "What up, brother?" Like we don't want to sleep with you. We just we acknowledge we both here. You know what I mean? So it was like, but being there, I think dating those women, my responsibility was I need to introduce you to my culture the right way. Like you're not coming around me, hanging around me, just 40s in a video and bandana. Like you need to learn
certain etiquettes.
Because there's in the same thing I checked the Nepal dude on was, bro. There's so many levels of black. You don't know the level of black you walking into talking to me. You may go to a no disrespect to a square black dude. He may go, nah, brother, don't call me that. But you may meet a black dude that yoke you up. You know what I mean? So
you may get the Deontay Wilder up in
that so you gotta know.
Till this day, right?
Yeah. So I'm going. That's how I started to gauge. I had to know what level of white I'm dealing with, what level of whatever I'm dealing with, art world, whatever. So the more I started dealing with these women, I'm going, okay, they had to learn me because I want their takeaway to be, when I deal with a black person, I need to know my shit.
That's
I can't
right.
come
That's
through
right.
here and be he and shit. You know what I mean? Like they need to know who they dealing with. So I think that was my like prominent like goal for that, but also retain the identity of being an artist, because it was like for us, I'm looking at artists like, they LGBT whatever I'm like that, like that's not me, you know what I mean? So I'm going, I need to make sure that this line is not being crossed whatsoever. Like, like this is me, this is who I am, but that's my occupation and passion, but I'm not associating myself with whatever you perceive to be an artist to you. You know what I mean? So I think a lot of that was me gauging how people may check me, my softness level. You know what I mean? Like that was really hard to gauge. I'm like, fuck, I gotta let people know, like, I'm not soft here, bro, but I'm also approachable. Like that was a thing.
I know that was hard, bro.
Yeah.
I know that was hard.
So is it like, because I mean, in art and entertainment, there's a lot of, like you said, LGBTQ in the community within those industries.
Yeah.
They saying something to you. Are you in your mind like, are you trying to play me? Or you know what I'm saying?
I mean, but there's times where certain things was said where I just had to just say what I'm feeling. You know what I mean? Respectfully. It was like, like, bro, you dealing with somebody from a certain culture, background, whatever, like it's the same as if, I approach a Jew dude and say something. It's like, bro, like he's like, bro, I'm from this region, this world. Like, you're gonna get this response. Like, you know what I mean? Like some things you can't sugarcoat. You know what I mean? So there's times where I know, okay, I gotta say this. You know what I mean? And there's times I'm like, some shit you ignore. You know what I mean? Like I had to learn that the hard way. Like I can't fight every fight. Because by the time I get to the real one, I'm exhausted. You know what I mean? I'm just lashing out.
That's ill to say that.
You know what I mean? So but yeah, bro.
Was it lonely out there?
Nah, I wasn't. Nah, bro. It wasn't.
That's not the word you're gonna use, right?
I mean, when I say lonely, because you're, I don't know how many miles that is from America, but there's no family out there.
It was no family.
You know what I'm saying? It was no family. When I say lonely, I'm talking about in that way. It's
because I definitely watched birthdays pass, holidays, Thanksgivings and all that. I definitely watched like pass, but it was like I had 30 years of that. Now I'm looking back at the 30 years, but I had 20 something years of seeing that already. So I'm going, this is for me. This is me finally being selfish to go. I need my path to go, to grow. Like, cause it's like that will always be there. But I gotta do me for me. You know what I mean? So it wasn't lonely. Like I learned a lot. You know what I mean? I learned a lot on my craft, like just being personable, approaching people, dealing with the world. You know what I mean? The world of people and like,
I want to say I'm proud of you that you went at 25, because a lot of black, I don't know how a lot of black people don't leave the neighborhood.
Nah.
You know what I'm saying? There's some people in New York who's never went to the city, never went to the Empire State Building. You know what I'm saying? Like, to leave,
and that's why I say privilege.
Yeah,
to have a healthy, you have to have a healthy amount of privilege in your family, or just having that resource around you, where you have parents or brothers or siblings can make sure, like, you know what, this person in my family wants to do this.
Probably
like
financing your dreams.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like I got a cousin who's a doctor at 25, pharmaceutical. Ow. So it's like the space he had to be in, his family, because for me, I didn't have time to go to college. I'm like, I need money. You know what I mean? Like I need to gain stuff. So it's like you need that space. Yeah. And if you don't have that space of opportunity to grow it, you kind of got to grow up really fast. You know what I mean? So I think that's why I said earlier, like that. There's a healthy amount of that, to have that privilege of going like and just you know, blessing, you know, just to go, yo, you know what, mom, dad, whoever, I want to learn this. I'm serious about this, like, because you're gonna have, like, you know, we podcast now. You're gonna have like dudes 12 years old doing podcasts, but that has to come from a space of their parents can afford for them to. Your free time is this. You know what I mean? The equipment is here and whatever.
Don't even focus on nothing else but this.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because some people, they starving for food.
Yeah,
you know
bro.
How can you even work on a dream when you gotta pay bills?
Yeah, for real, bro. Like so, you know, but so that was, you know, the advantage. And I think that's, you know, the reality of it. Because even if you out hustling and all that, it's still like, it's not about money, it's time. Yeah. You know what I mean? So you have to measure time. Like, you can make all the money in the world, but if you don't have time to learn this craft, you're just a spectator in the sport. You know what I mean? Like, you can go all day like, oh, I want to learn how to play. I want to play ball. But if you just getting money and never going to the gym to play ball, by the time you actually get into the gym, you still a novice at 20, 30, 40, whatever age. You know what I mean? So I think it was like, damn, I had to actually jump into it and just relinquish all forms of everything to truly commit to that.
I'm very envious of that. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I didn't do that, so I didn't have both feet in. I always had one in, one out. So like that's it's brave and it's scary, but it's like that's how that's what I want my daughter to do. You know what I'm saying? Don't fuck up. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Because this is when I started dealing with other cultures. This is how other cultures look at life. You're supposed to fail. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It's okay to fail. You know what I'm saying?
Learn if you don't fail.
Yeah, exactly. Like, no. I remember watching one time, and it was something about like Israel, where they'll forget, like, if somebody starts a business and it fails, they'll forgive them. Like, the government will forgive some of their losses and stuff like that, because they know
like, it happens.
It's supposed to happen.
Yeah, and I think, we talked about pressure earlier. I think the only pressure I do deal with is, as a black artist, like having this idea where I can't make a mistake.
Yes,
you know what I mean. Like, I think that's one of the different. Yeah, that's one of the biggest things. So when I do put on something or create something, it almost has to be perfect, because it's like I'm going up against 1,000 years of other artists. Yeah. So there's that comparison game of, this is what black artists create, this is what every other artist creates. You know what I mean? So it's like, if I'm looking at that indirectly or directly, I'm going, damn, I have to make sure everything is lining up so perfectly to the point where I'm in competition now. Like I said, I'm very competitive. I'm in competition with that white artist, or whoever, you know. So I think that was one of the biggest things for me.
Shit, man. We ain't even get to the sculpting part.
All right.
So you're in Australia. You painting, you meeting people, you enjoying.
Wait, one
life.
question. You still there now?
In Australia?
Yeah.
No, I'm back home. I came back home. I was in LA for a while, upstate in Ithaca. I'm back home now as of, it'll be 1 year.
What brought you back? What made you come back?
It's a segue from it.
We gonna get there, B.
Yeah, there's a reason I'm back though. Yeah.
Okay.
It's a segue from it.
Right.
Yeah.
You just checked me?
He just checked you just now.
I want to do this chronologically though.
Oh, okay.
We keeping that too.
We damn sure are.
Yeah.
My bad. This ain't scripted, that's why.
Yeah, this is definitely not. So
sculpting. Yeah. I got heavy into the sculpting when I got to. So I leave Australia, I'm coming home, and I think I was just done with art for a while. I just wanted, I wanted to be done.
You leave before you sculpt?
Well, more professionally.
Okay.
Like I started getting professionally with sculpting in LA.
All right. So what made you leave Australia then? So I should.
My visa was up. My visa was up, so I was coming home.
Don't look like that.
I'm looking at him to get verification. Don't do that. I'm not wrong. That's all I need. I don't need it from you. Finish what you was doing, bro.
So I leave Australia, visa's up. Mm-hmm. I come back to New York. Well, I come back to the States. Mm-hmm. And I bump into this girl, and she goes, yo, I think I know you from this other person in Australia. And we're chopping it up or whatever. She goes, yo, I want you to meet this guy in LA. And he's like this millionaire Armenian dude, and he wants you to start doing paintings for him. And I'm just like, whatever, blowing smoke. Mm-hmm. And she's like, just take the meeting with him. I take the meeting with him 2017, and I stay there. And everything is just booming. Like I'm painting walls for, 20 grand. Like it could be the smallest thing.
Whoa.
Nice.
Whoa.
Right.
You got down to the nitty-gritty.
Yeah. So I'm really getting to it.
That's right.
So like, and I'm touching like LA first time. So I'm honing in on the God qualities in Australia, but now in the States. Yeah. And so I'm there, I'm doing my thing there, and I start getting jobs, and this guy is that hired me wanted me to like really challenge myself. He's like, yo, bro, I'll pay you whatever, just I want this in my establishment and paint this and sculpt that. And I think it started out where he wanted like a really big like pastry donut, like with like the custard or whatever coming out, and everyone that was around me was like, bro, we only seen you paint. And I'm like, yo, bro, I know how to do this, because it was really big. Mm. And once I did that, it went into like, yo, can you sculpt this now? Like someone else. Wow. Can you sculpt that now? And, hanging out with certain crowds, whatever. And it was like, they started to see my versatility. And I was getting paid large dollars for that, because I'm going.
Can we get a couple of amounts of how much you made? Like, what was the biggest check where you go, God damn?
I think the biggest check, bro, off one job from home, because that dude, like, he really cashed out. Like, I think it was like 30 bears.
Nice.
Yeah, like 30 bears.
What did you have to do?
It was like a large elephant. You know what I mean? Like just like when I say large, like probably like the size of this couch. Right. You know what I mean? Like, but there was also other jobs too. Like I mean, I can't say who they are, but
no, we don't want to know the names.
I worked for some museums, and I did a lot of they call it restoration, but I did a lot of forgery for museums. Like
whoa.
Yeah,
break that down.
Right.
That. How that
go?
So the paintings you see on walls are primarily fakes. You know what I mean? Like you get paid when you go in there. Like you gotta leave your phones. You know what I mean? Like you gotta really like it's some.
Right.
Yeah, you know what I mean. So it's some. I ain't gonna get on it too much, but
you the artist have to leave your phone because
it's a lot. It's a lot of like secret shit with that, you know what I mean? But when you go into a museum, you see an artwork that's 60 million or whatever, like they grab like 4 or 5 artists to,
recreate that.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
And they pick the best one.
Yeah, and so you got to ask yourself, like when you don't see artwork with glass around it and it's worth 60 million, you got to ask yourself, would you put a $60 million painting exposed to the public every day?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like when you start seeing works that got glass over it in case you can assume like that's the authenticated version of it. You know what I mean? But I did a lot of that in LA as well. You know what I mean? And so working with homie, working with, galleries and whatnot, that kind of put me in a space. But I was doing that for a while, and then I got to an idea where I wanted to do my own thing, in LA. And I think the biggest job for me there was I decided to put on my own show in a circus tent. Like a full-on art show inside of a circus tent in the middle of Hollywood. Like it was never done. And I remember at the time, by this time I was going broke. Like I was just splurging. Like I was having
life is good.
Yeah,
right. I mean, I was I don't really want to call that an expense. That was more like an investment to just
It was definitely because it paved the way for where I'm at now. And I was with this girl at the time. She was like holding me down like with the show and stuff. And we did the show and we had to get permits. It's my first time ever trying to get permits and licensing. And it was in a space, it was Hollywood and Cahuenga, which is like, but and I'm saying this on the record, like because of this circus tent, it opened up the permit for Hollywood to do a farmer's market there. And
That's it.
after that, I was kind of mad about it because I was the first one through the door.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like,
you could have kept it going.
and like now they got like flea markets there. They make, they clear about a good 10 grand a week.
Wow,
you know what I mean?
right,
Like,
right.
but
Damn.
every day when we was, living there, we would walk past it and see like, I did this. Like I
How does that fit? Like you're the
That's
first,
dope.
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, bro,
to
like
pioneer some shit like that.
yeah, bro. Like when I seen it, and I think the first day when I seen the tent get erected, I was like, "Oh, what's happening? Like it's really happening." You know what I mean? And it was like the aesthetic was artwork. It was supposed to look like a gallery on the inside, but a circus tent on the outside. So you paid for the show like with physical like circus tickets. It was supposed to be a theme around it, but after that show. During that show, I was sculpting a lot. I was doing a lot of like carnivalistic, whimsical artwork, and I was like, I gotta get a job when this is over. And right after that job, I got hired through Disney, and that's what kind of like facilitated like me understanding like identity.
Wait.
Right.
Great over here.
Yeah.
That's it.
Bro. It was like they seen like you did this by yourself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
Right.
I came in with that knowledge of working with, high-end art world and Art Basel people or whatever. And it was like, okay, if you could do that, we know you could do Nintendo or whatever. Yeah. I started working for Disney Japan. So it was like I did a lot of the Mario World sculpting.
Wow.
For Disney. Yeah, so it was dope. I
didn't even know they was together in Japan.
Yeah, they
Nintendo usually be on some
keeping it close.
On some Apple type shit.
Yeah,
in-house everything.
That's
so
Dope.
yeah, so I was doing a lot of that, like sculptures the size like 30, 40 feet tall. You know what I mean? So
damn.
Yeah, bro. So
And where you get material from? Like, how does that work?
I mean, for places like Disney, they just grabbing up like expensive clay and foam. Like the
Oh,
cheapest thing
clay
was
you're
foam,
using. Right,
like
right.
foam blocks, whatever. But for me, I was on like for private jobs, it was like I had to get like this thing called epoxy. Epoxy clay is expensive. It's like a drum could run you like $1,000. You know what I mean? You could sculpt like a full size body. You know what I mean?
Oh, out of a drum.
Yeah,
Okay.
you know what I mean. So if you hollowing something out, you might get like the size of like a small Mini Cooper. You know what I mean? Like if that makes sense. But,
Right.
But yeah, so working with them, and I got into those spaces, bro, and that's when I started seeing the insecurities more. Like that's when it hit.
And you?
For them, for the people around me, because it was
like
I was always the youngest. You know what I mean? Like I would have been 28 at the time. Everybody's 45, 50. You know what I mean? 60. You know what I mean? So, and it was like my work ethic was just crazy. And then I'm showing up in, black overalls with Raf Simons. You know what I mean? Like Jordans on. So it's like they like
you coming up there with swag. You know?
Right. Who the fuck is bro? You know what I mean? So, and I was like, anytime I seen you get mad, the competitive in me was like, oh, I'm gonna do it again tomorrow.
That's right.
Like, I got some motion for you. You know what I mean? So it was like Disney happened, then eventually COVID came, and I got laid off or whatever, and then they called me back, and by the time COVID was coming, and I'm bringing this up because this was crucial. Me and my girl at the time, we bought a car. And I was like, yo, we gonna get this car, like we gonna do our thing. We bought a 72 Rolls Royce. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, so
hold on, can I get hold on, that's some real stuff right there for your ass.
but I got it now. It's in Bricktown. Like I got it out of me and her split, whatever. But I got it out of that whole, breakup or whatever. And during going back to Disney, I was very conscious of bringing this car to work. I was like, because it complimented me. It wasn't like it was like some young dude wilding. It was like, that shit look like he belong in that shit. You know what I mean? Yeah. So after a while, I was telling my girl, like, yo, just let me get the Ubers. She like, well, we got this car for. I'm like, yeah, but I could feel
you can feel
that energy.
That negative
energy.
You
know what I mean? I could feel like
right?
I shouldn't bring that shit to work. So one day I went to work and they start coming at me about like, we was doing Peter Pan or something, like, and they was coming at me like, you moving slow and this. I'm like, bro, like, I'm actually waiting on y'all. You know what I mean? Like, and they said something like, you always and it's like you struggling to get here. You know, you taking the bus. I said, but I'm getting here on time. You know what I mean? So whatever he said that day, one of the coworkers, I hit my girl. I said, yo, I'm bringing Betty tomorrow, bro. Straight up, bro. Like,
I'm stunting today. I'm
bringing Betty tomorrow. We pulled up, white girl too. Like we pulled up. I'm in a patch of cigar, hopping out. And they seeing that shit was it's a white Rolls Royce. And they seeing that shit, I'm hopping out, white girl, curly hair, she curled up. And they was just like, what the fuck?
Who are we talking to?
Right. I'm going to work, pulling out my work gear out of the trunk, you know what I mean? And I'm at work now and I'm watching everybody like, yo, is this dude a fucking bit? Like, who is he? Is he like Bob, whoever boss son? Grant, like, who the fuck is this? So I started seeing like the politics. It had nothing to do with sculpting anymore. It was like, we want to be able to accept you. And I wasn't accepted. It was, and I never was going to be, you know what I mean? So I was like, you know what? Every day you're going to feel this. And I started parking in the front, everything. And eventually me and them had, little disputes or whatever. I left, and my girl at the time goes, I want to come back. I want to go to New York. She had a job upstate New York. And I was like, yo, I'm coming back. But I had, in my agenda, I'm telling her like, I need to come back home to Bricktown, and to answer your question, like the idea I started having at those Disneys and all that was, I want to create my own IKEA, my own Disney, my own whatever. And to do that required to start where I was from. And when we came back, eventually I was like, yo, I gotta build, I gotta start like making sure my identity is there every step of the way. Whether I'm arguing with somebody, whether I'm dating them, whatever it is, because, when it's all over, you come out of a breakup or whatever it is, or any relationship, you going, damn, and I was eating that fucking caviar when I didn't want to. You know what I mean? Like, so you going, when you are who you are, when something ends, like a job or whatever, you feel a sense of comfort. Like I didn't change for nothing. You know what I mean? Like, like they accepted me for who I was.
Compromise.
And so, well, I think what it really was I was accepting myself. You know what I mean? So when I came back, the idea I had in my head was I wanted Bricktown to have something that we never had, and that was to implement this farmer's market, to implement something that like we can show some options. You know what I mean? Whether it was art related, whether it was food related, whatever it was. And so 3-4 years ago, that kind of was the embedded idea in my head sitting in Disney. I'm going, damn, like they live and breathe Disney here. Like this is it. There's nothing else. We don't talk about nothing else, and I'm going, the more I started talking to them, the more I started hanging around them, I'm like, there's nothing black about this shit. Like there's nothing, they could throw in a black princess, but it's still predominantly white American culture. You know what I mean? So there was nothing else that was feeding my diet. My diet was literally Disney or something else. You know what I mean? So that's what kind of propelled me to come back. You know what I mean? And in the midst of coming back, I don't want to talk too far. I know you. I don't know if you got some other questions, but
brother, we all listening. Eyes is glued to you talking, brother. Go ahead and talk.
So after all of that, I came back and I got hired at Macy's, and Macy's was for sculpting. So I started
34th Street.
Well, we do the parade. Okay. We do the parade.
Oh, the parade.
Yeah, we do the sculpting for the parade. But it was like my job was really sculpting like the floats, whatever.
Right.
It was like once I got into that job, I was going, this is why it's important for me to hone like my identity, because they had one other black dude there, but I was like the youngest black dude that really didn't fit no mold for them. It was like, bro, we about to pay this dude a sculpting salary and do all of this, do all of that, but he's not even 40. He not even fitting what we think a sculptor is, But while all that was happening, I'm going, I'm just checking off boxes. Like I was able to say this in a meeting. I was able to ask for this in a meeting and still be who I am. Like how I dress now is how I show up to work every day. You know what I mean? It was never I gotta wear a tie, to make you feel comfortable, like I'm approachable. You know what I mean? It was me from the gate of my demeanor and vocal, like, yo, this is me, bro. I'm not putting on no top hat. You know what I mean? So
it's funny, man. Like you say that, and like that was one of the things when I was going to college, and that's the thing. Every time that I get into a new job, but anytime I'm around people outside of my culture. Like, I'm very conscious of that, where it's like, I want my voice to be sounding this way in every corner.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, because, you know, and I guess when I heard Kanye, and, you know, you hear him when he was in Chicago and stuff like that, and then when he gets to Kim Kardashian,
voices changing,
his
everything,
voice changing, you're like, who are you? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, bro.
Like,
It's a real thing, but, you know, I think
and that's not to, you know, diss Kanye.
Yeah.
But that's just, when I seen that, I it was like so conscious in me where I'm like, I don't ever want to be that person who's changing up. I want to be this guy everywhere, and you respect me. You can't say I'm stupid. You can't say I'm none of that. I want to be that guy. So that's ill that you go through that too.
Yeah, bro. And I think a lot of that had to deal with the factor of, you know, like to say real quick, I had a meeting at we was in Macy's. It was like an HR meeting about building culture together.
Yeah.
And when I got there, around the time of Black History Month, I started writing on the board like people they should read about, people they should look up. And I remember we got into this meeting and I brought it up. I said to denounce Black History Month is to denounce me. Like everything was getting ignored, and it was like I can tell it. A lot of them didn't really gel with that, but it was like I understood, like, if my diet is constantly St. Patrick's Day, Thanksgiving, all these other things, like that's all I'm gonna know. And I think for Ye, like I think that, and I'm saying this because I lived in that Malibu, Hollywood. I lived that life, so I see like how hard it really is to maintain a family, this relationship, that relationship, job, money, this, that, and still have your identity. You know what I mean? Like that's actually really hard to do. And so watching him do that, I'm going, it's to be expected that he started dwelling into sonically sounding like somebody else, because his diet is, you know,
everybody else's culture.
Everyone else's culture saying this is what we eating, what we thinking, what we doing. Like I literally watched, you know, and I'm not just saying white people. I watch other groups of people enforce how like soul food is shitty. Yeah. But they're pushing McDonald's. You know what I mean? So I'm going, how the fuck we eat? You know what I mean? Like you pushing that. You getting obese, bad health, whatever. Like the food I've been eating is good. Like I've been having the same bill of health my whole time, but I'm watching that agenda. Because they're going, I'm uncomfortable with you having that diet. Like, this is our diet in this world. You know what I mean? So it's like when you go to someone's house and you watching, this is the things they eat, things they do, things they watch. And they want you to do that same thing. You know what I mean? So there's a part, there's the judo of that, where you got to learn, okay, how do I say this is me without creating conflict? You know what I mean? And there's going to be conflict, but having that communication where it's like, yo, look, bro, this is my boundary. This is as far as I'm willing to go to acclimate to your thing. Because now it's time to acclimate to mine or understand mine. You know what I mean? So, yeah, but I definitely get you on that.
You know, I don't say that about Kanye to talk bad about him, you know, because he's not the only one going through that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? As you just iterated, like that's, when you're, you know, and this is probably why I brought up the idea of were you lonely in Australia, because you're around everybody's culture but yours. Like I have a friend in Germany where it's like some, you know, he's married out there and he loves his wife. Yeah, black dude. Okay. You know what I'm saying? But I'm sure, you know, there's times when he's homesick. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And because we grow up, we live where we grew up, it's a lot easier for us. We may not understand that, but when you're around that and you go to work and everybody's a different hue, everybody not only a different hue, but they celebrate different things. Yeah. From what you celebrated, they look at the world differently from what you look at it. Man, you go, you know, do I even matter or like?
But you know, not to cut you off, I think to answer that, like what I figured out, what we would all have to do is create those worlds in our world. Because then that brings these people to our world where we don't, like, you know, the thing that really hit me, and I know we're probably gonna jump on this book soon, but like I know. The thing that hit me with that was I was sitting in Little Italy when I came back home, and I was sitting with my cousins, and I had a girl with me at the time. We all hanging out, and I said, yo, bro, they don't have to leave Little Italy. Like the Italians here don't have to leave it, bro. Like they got their olive oil, they got their bikes, they got like they don't have to leave this
They got
like
family.
This square block is like they got their the banner, and I'm going, why what makes it where they can't leave, but we're coming here? Like what's bringing us here?
Yeah.
And I'm going, it's the culture, it's the food, it's the community of them going, yo, we building up our community so much, our culture so much that, bro, we don't even have to visit nowhere else. Like when you come here, you tell us the stories about where everything else is happening, but we here, range through the snow. And so I think, and that's kind of what I was saying about Bricktown. It's like, if I can create that for my town where we having our own cafes, own festivals, where we could bring a Jay-Z or whoever or Bad Bunny to our space, I wouldn't want to leave. I look at what happened with the Bronx after the movie Joker came out. You had the tourists popping up, 145th cameras out. You had dudes on the block like, what the fuck going on? Like, why everybody here? You know what I mean? So it was like, what starts to happen is we indirectly, I mean, going to tangent with this, but you indirectly bring reparations back to you because now you got an idea of a community and people, tourists wanting to go. I want to go to that neighborhood. I want to go to South Jamaica. Yeah. Yo, they got a koi fish pond. And like,
that's the way to put it.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, I want to see, like, so that's what happened for me. Yeah. With trying to get back into black identity. Like, truly going, like, okay, like, seeing, like, yo, like, I watched, there's a restaurant in Australia where they try to duplicate soul food. But it's a Australian British restaurant. And I'm going, how the fuck they gonna do that? Like,
the black people cooking at least?
Nah. So I'm going, how could they actually where what did they pick up on to grab
in America?
That? But I understood, like, being in LA, I'm like, oh, they probably went to Crenshaw, hung out over there. Oh, we could do that. We could just say soul food on it. We make fish too. Like, whatever. You know what I mean? We could just say that. You know what I mean? Like, so it's like the brand identity of it. And I started seeing that, like, when I watch, like, now we got, it's called Downtown Jamaica. You know what I mean? I'm like, so I'm hearing that going, oh, they coming. Like, they really coming, bro. Like, when they come, you gonna start seeing Starbucks, Chick-fil-A, all that.
Already, that's in the works.
All that building. So I'm going, if that's there, imagine if we had a Baisley World where, yo, you got literally a carnival in Roy Wilkins permanently. You know what I mean? Like, whatever it is. You know what I mean? Whatever it is where you having those white on white quote unquote white tourists coming into neighborhoods and spending green dollars.
The reputation is you got when you come to New York, you got to come to Southside because Southside has the best
haircuts, whatever it is. So
which is true, by the way.
Yeah. So
like here.
So that's what made me go. If I go overseas to get this art money, I could bring that back. But I knew at the time black people wouldn't understand spending $1,200 on a painting. They like, bro, I got a fucking bill to pay. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not in that privilege to do that. You know, now you're starting to see people going, yo, I just dropped X, Y, and Z on this because we're having our mentors, our Jay-Z's or whoever go, yo, I just bought this. So we going, let me start getting paintings. You know what I mean? I think one of the illest, and I had to watch it again, I think it was Barbershop 2, where Ice Cube goes, yo, let's get some artwork in here. He asked D-Ray to bring artwork in. So he's just bringing in any artwork. He's just like, well, we just need to compete with whatever that other world is across the street. You starting to see like when a black person starts to evolve, art becomes the first thing they gravitate to. You know what I mean? So when our first intake with that was food or music. You know what I mean? So I think, if we actually do have that, bro could be in Germany and be like, my hometown does X, Y, and Z. But a lot of us don't have the language or whatever to say, like, yo, well, I came here to experience y'all, but my hometown is great too. You know what I mean? Like we're going, I want to leave the hood. You know what I mean? I think,
that needs to change. That idea needs to change.
Because I came back from all of that. Like, I lived in the hills and all that, and I'm going, I actually like my hood better. You know what I mean? Like, I truly like it better, bro. Like we have this mentality, it's dangerous, whatever. I think everywhere is. like Karens are dangerous. You know what I mean? Like
absolutely.
They full on dangerous, bro. Like cops are dangerous, like all that. But I think it's just understanding the diet of how much you intake of a hood.
But it took you to leave the hood to see that, though.
You know what I mean?
So
like,
now, if you in the hood, you won't know that.
Your lens is skewed. You know what I mean? So I think when I left that, I was like, oh, and being in, like, when I went to LA, the first place I stayed was the Jungles. You know what I mean? Like, I lived there, grew up there, and I'm going, yo, they don't leave Baldwin. Like, they don't, bro. It's a blood neighborhood. Like, they just like, nah, bro, we here. Yeah. And you looking at it like, yo, it don't rain. They got the mall. They got this. It's like, imagine throwing Green Acres, Jamaica Ave, 125th in like 3 blocks. I don't got to leave. And it's not raining? Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't need to leave, bro.
Yeah, that's
not raining.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So it's like, I'm watching that and I'm going, yeah, there are black communities that like, yo, we do the Lamert Park. You know what I mean? Like, they really like, nah, this is our community, bro. We don't need to leave that. You know what I mean? Like, you see it with Harlem, certain spots in Brooklyn, but I think for where I'm at in Queens and just Queens in general, it's like, yo, we could really like become that. Yeah. Where it's like, bro, I don't ever need, like, if you're never going to leave, make the best of it. You know what I mean? Like, so, but to do that, you do need people like, I like myself, me or Dapper Dan or whoever, where it's like, they going, yo, this is what I seen out there. This is what we can add in our own way. You know, it don't gotta be, we don't need to add I hear this a lot. Like, people say white equivalent. Like, it don't need to be a white equivalent. It need to just be a black equivalent, whatever it is. So if we got a soul food spot, let's make the best soul food spot. You know what I mean? Like, we don't need to look at a Philippe Child and go, we need to be that. We are who we are. You know what I mean? Like,
it has to be good for us.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Because I think our fear is if we just tweak for another group, they'll come in. But they coming in anyway. They've been coming in since the beginning of time. You know what I mean? So I think
force or however,
you know what I mean? So I think that's really what it is. It is really loving, because if you love where you from and who you are, none of that matters. You could travel all day just for the experience, but you truly live and breathe your neighborhood. You know what I mean?
It's funny. That's we had a little Toya Benjamin here. You was here for that one.
Yeah.
And she was talking about the banking deserts and stuff like that. And
being a bank desert and all that.
You know what I'm saying? Adding that to this community will definitely help create that utopia that you speak about.
Yeah, bro. You know for real.
I take it a lot of this, finding your identity and trying to make the black community comfortable with themselves and letting the black community accept themselves. I take it that's where this book came about.
The misguided, black mythology,
black mythology, the misguided.
You got it upside down, bro.
I had it upside down?
Yeah.
Sorry. Shit.
Look right now.
I'm talking and I'm
you good.
I'm doing a lot.
Yeah.
Don't close your eyes.
I didn't say nothing.
You embarrassed?
So what made me think of the book was being in Disney and going, I need an idea. I need an idea for like how can black people connect to me? Yeah. How do I actually get that? And so I sat on the idea of mythology. I sat on the idea of like anthropology, like culture and like belief. Like, what is black people belief system? You know what I mean? Like for us, what some may call chivalry is like black people's respect. You know what I mean? Like walking shorty on the inside, whatever it is. So there's so many little things, like putting out, I just seen it earlier, like putting out forks and spoons in a hot cup at a restaurant. You know what I mean? Like certain little things we do, little ticks. It's like, yo, that's us. You know what I mean? And so what started happening was when I was hanging around this girl who's white, my ex, I'm going, she's bringing me a lot of culture about a lot of different things, but I can't share nothing. I can't share like, how does a black drummer sound? How does a black singer sound? Like you can hear it on the radio, or whatever, but how do I actually like articulate it where it's something that's fascinating? Because she would tell me things about Greece or whatever, and I'm going, damn, they got green grass. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like how do I say that? So what started happening was I came up with an idea where I said to myself, what do blacks praise? What do we praise? And the idea spawned where we praise anything through clothing or food or music. And once that started growing, I said to myself, you know what? I want to create like a symbol. Like I want to create like how do blacks go when we talk of our gods or belief or whatever, like what does it look like? You know, like does it look like a Zeus? Does it look like a Ocean? Like what? Like how do we separate from everyone else and show this is Black Americans? Like we truly are American. You know what I mean? And so what started happening is I jumped into this idea where I was like, you know what? I want to create a book about Black gods and Black gods existing in America and Black people starting to forget about them. Like the narrative of what happens when Black gods start to be forgotten about. And the premise of the book is that Black people, like celebrities, artists, you know, regular folk, find a connection or favor from Black gods, but they start to become, and it's so funny he got the shirt on, they start to fall into the beliefs of like gods like Nike, you know what I mean? Gods like Poseidon, Medusa, you know, and by way of clothing, you know. So one of the stories in particular, and I'm speaking on it because you got the shirt on, it's like, I tell a story of how like Nike, the goddess of victory, wants to come from Italy, and she sees a outing in America. She's like, you know, the people in Italy in the early 1900s they're starting to lose favor of Nike, and she's like, I need to find another place. And so she finds this guy who's like in the military. His name is Bill Bowerman. He's the guy who actually made Nike, so the brand, you know. So
not Phil Knight.
Phil Knight is his partner, but Bill Bowerman is the guy who came up with Nike. It was called Blue Ribbon or something like that at the time. So the way I write the story is that like she finds Bill Bowerman like, yo, bro, you know, bring me back to where you from, and you know, I'll give you favor, but I need favor. And he creates this brand for her, and what starts to happen is she goes out like, I want to jump into the Olympians. I want to fight like I want to battle like Zeus and them in the Olympic Games, but I need real good athletes. And Bill's like, well, the only ones I know is Black dudes. You know what I mean? Wow. So Black people start to go, yo, Nike is cutting a check because that's what we want. You know what I mean? We want like, yo, we need to, our freedom is money, you know? So the Black gods in these narratives can't necessarily provide financial gain for Black. They can provide like good, you know, calf muscles and you know, things that Black people go, I don't really want that. I want money. You know what I mean? So the first order of Nike is finding Jordan. You know what I mean? Like grabbing up Jordan, like Michael Jordan. Right. And so in the short story, she's concluding like, if we get Jordan, we get all the Black praise because Jordan is their leader. And so what starts to happen is they give Jordan wings, like Jordan, like mythologically, they give him his wings. So what starts to happen is Jordan finds himself becoming a god. You know, like Black people are praising him, but they're also indirectly praising Nike because they're wearing Nike. And so that story I tell is to kind of express to you like how and why like we indirectly or directly praise something else that's not us. Like we haven't created, we haven't created our own Nike. You know what I mean? Like, and so I wanted to write this in a way where it's digestible to Black people, where we're going, oh shit, like I wear Nike all day. You know what I mean? Like, and so, you know, even, you know, other stories, you know, I don't want to get too long-winded on it, like us praising Versace. You know, us wearing Medusa, the snake head or whatever. You know, we started to go like Tupac and Biggie wearing it, I'm wearing it. You know what I mean? Like, and now that they're dead and gone, God rest their souls, we're still praising Versace. And he's dead and gone, you know, but Versace's getting more praise. Every time you mention a Tupac or a Biggie, there's a line of Versace. You know what I mean? So, you know, you think about like Hit 'Em Up. He says, you know, like you copy my style, I wear Versace. You know what I mean? Like, so you reiterating that every day as a Black youth or whatever.
You don't even, it's subconscious at this point.
You know, so what starts to happen is you're like, oh, like you go in the store, you go, Versace. That's what he was talking about. I want to wear that. You know what I mean? So that's what this book was about, was showing like what happens if we keep jumping over to someone else's group. And so I had to create real Black gods like from scratch, like the spirit of things, like the spirit of language, the spirit of you know, nurturement, you know, the spirit of guidance, health, like all these things that Blacks connect to that we can read and go, oh, like you know, I don't know if you guys are familiar with it, but and I hate to even compare it, but I wanted this to be like our Bible, you know,
but that's what Greek mythology was. It was the Bible before the Bible came.
Yeah, you know what I mean. So but yeah, that's kind of how I jumped into it.
I always, when I'm reading it and I'm thinking about it and stuff like that, I'm thinking about I needed this as a kid because even scientists or sociologists or attest to this. Your most impressionable years are 21 and under. You know what I'm saying? So you start idolizing this stuff at a young age. And you know what I'm saying? You'll see like the cartoons. They'll make an iteration of it, or you'll see just several things about what a god looks like. You see the Zeus commercials and stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly.
I just thought that this was like, maybe like I need a cartoon of this, or
Yeah, definitely. Like not to cut you off. Like I think that was why I wrote it. I wrote it in a way where I'm like, you can visually see it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, and it can be a in future tense, like a movie or a series or something where it sparks that interest. Where
I think it's interesting. That's dope.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Where it's like. Okay, and for us, even for me, like I had to step aside and go, if I didn't write this, would I read it? You know what I mean? I think that was important. Like, would I actually read it? And I think I probably would be straight away from it at first, because I'm from a generation where it's like whatever. You know what I mean? And if I hear about it, I'm going, hold on, who did what? Let me read some of them stuff. You know what I mean? And then before I know it, I'm talking about it like gospel.
Yeah.
And it may spread. It may grow into an infectious way where everyone's kind of talking about it. But I think I wrote it for the generation after me.
Absolutely. No, I think it has to be like that, because I think short stories all the way was the word before it was written. You know what I'm saying? So when you tell the story orally, it has to be told in a way to captivate children. And once they know it from a kid, and then they get older, they'll tell it to their friends, and they'll tell it to their children and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? And it's the same thing when you think of Tupac. When did you first hear Tupac?
I was young,
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I was like 5,
So Versace was ingrained in you at 12 years old.
Yeah.
You get 21, you got a couple dollars.
Yeah, Versace it is. Yeah,
bro. You know what I'm saying? So it has
for real.
it starts from the youth. So, Morado, I fucking love this conversation, man.
Yeah.
That's a fact.
You know what I'm saying? It was
a big fact.
Yeah, appreciate
a great
it.
conversation, man. Your life was, is, and is still being an amazing. It is amazing, and I wish you well.
Yeah, appreciate it, bro.
I love the book. Where can they go cop the book?
I got a website. It's Oli Nero at myspotify.com. I'll throw it up, send it to you guys. You can check it out.
Indeed.
Yeah.
You got anything, Bob?
I'm proud of you, bro.
Yeah.
I mean, we need more people, black people like you, bro.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? So that was a very inspiring story that you gave us, bro. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I really do.
Definitely, bro. Yeah, that's love, bro.
For real.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna copy your book.
Yeah, that's love.
We definitely copping the book.
Yeah,
right
I got like 2 here.
Okay. Yeah, you got 2. We
All
definitely copping the book.
I appreciate you, bro.
That was
real talk.
dope. No, man. I mean, I'm the same thing, man. I just thought that whole thing was dope.
Yeah.
The whole experience with you over there in Australia was super dope.
Yeah.
Come back to go to LA. And then come over here and trying to put it on for Bricktown, which is like that's dope.
Yeah.
I always think those.
One more thing. What are you doing right now? What's your?
Right now I'm having a farmers market in Bricktown, April 22nd.
Okay.
April 22nd. We'll
Earth Day or whatever. I mean, I didn't really get into it, but like the main thing was I wanted to start there, and it's exclusively for Bricktown natives.
Okay.
Because I wanted to see. I mean, I'm not saying like people can't come.
Yeah, I know
I'm saying
what you're
like for the fruits and everything, because it's like literally I had like financed the whole thing.
Yeah,
so it's like I wanted to see how people, when they have an option, what they do with it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah.
So I want to see how that works. I've been working with the councilwoman there, Natasha Williams. Like, she's been, in support of it. So it's like we're trying to see what happens, and hopefully, if it's a thing, I can grow it into doing it weekly. You know what I mean? Moving to Hollis, moving to Baisley, moving to South Jamaica. But that's really what I wanted to do first, is to see how people gel to it and how they receive that as a first dose. You know what I mean? Because it's Bricktown's first farmers market. You know what I mean? I think it's. I mean, I don't want to say South Jamaica's first farmers market, but just in that area, like I've never seen it. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's what I'm working on.
Yeah, that's dope. Good luck with that.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Amazing. I need a round of applause for that. Be the first.
Word.
And happy 25th anniversary, though, bro. Yeah.
Thanks,
Thank you, man. I
Anniversary.
appreciate that, man. Thank you.
This is the 25th anniversary of the
I'm happy to be here
Barbaceuticals,
right on
Yes,
time for
sir.
that.
formerly known as the Barber Union, and we dropped a jewel, a gem, and something precious for everybody to feed off of. Please subscribe. Thank you for watching. Thanks for asking. Peace.
Peace.
Yeah.
Peace.